Hello, boys and girls, and everything between and beyond. My name is V, and welcome to the demo of Invite Me In, which is, I think it's a text-based horror game. I'm not completely sure, but it seemed interesting, and I want to continue the Strange Man series, but I want to dedicate a full day for it. And things have been a bit hectic in real life, so some new indie games we'll have to do for now. So let's get into whatever this is. It's a horror game demo that contains content made to introduce fear. It is not recommended for those easily disturbed. If needed, please read the content warning before continuing. We don't need that. I have to know your name. V. As the sun finally sets, the lengthening shadows all begin to bleed together until everything is covered in darkness. My path is only illuminated by the occasional street light, and I start to become nervous again, like something bad is about to happen, if not treated with caution. I started picking up my pace as I get closer to home. I didn't plan to be out for so long, especially not at night all by myself. The grocery store bag clutches tightly in my hands seemed much heavier, even though it only carries the sole jug of milk that I desperately needed before leaving the house earlier. Now I'm wondering if it was really worth the trip. Yes, milk is delicious. Turning the corner just leads to another dark road. I debate whether I should slow down to prevent tripping, or just break out into a run here and now. But it's just a couple more blocks, then I'll be back home. For some reason, nagging at the back of my mind, that didn't feel like an appealing solution either. If something dangerous really was just out of view, going back to an empty house was just like throwing a blanket over your head to keep the monsters away. It's moments like this I wish I didn't live alone. But I'm probably just anxious for no reason. I don't have any evidence that someone is really trying to hurt me. Just these paranoid feelings in the back of my mind that I should ignore. I would say trust your gut. It's usually right. I really have to stop trying to freak myself out. All it's doing is causing me to lose sleep, which makes me more on edge. Focusing on getting home is the only thing I need to worry about for now. Then I can eat dinner, chill out, finally get some much needed rest. Just as I was about to turn down the last street, I see a figure sitting next to the sidewalk, a few feet in front of me. I immediately stop walking, try to get a better look before getting any closer. I hear the blood start to pulse faster in my ears. They are almost fully hidden from view, so I didn't have much of a chance to see them from farther away. and they are perfectly still. I feel the fear rising in me again, and stay frozen in the same spot, my muscle tense, waiting to see if the stranger makes a move. That. They do nothing. Since it's so dark, I can't even tell if they have seen me or not. Though I keep getting the feeling they are staring right at me. It's terrifying, but I can't just stand here forever. I want to go home. Swallowing the lingering morbid thought and stirring up some bravery, I begin to walk again, till I'm only a couple of feet away from the stranger. Once I'm closer, I finally make out some of the vague details of the face. His face. And we make eye contact. I flinch back a bit after seeing him look at me, but then I start to notice something strange. He's curled up in the grass, clutching his arm tightly to his body, and I begin to hear his heavy, uneven breath over my own. He's hurt. Badly. As soon as I see the state he's in, I'm not only more worried than before, but now also heavily concerned for his well-being. Hello. Can you hear me all right? Are you okay? What happened? Dot. For a moment, he has kept looking at me. His expression is unreadable. This far from any light source. Is unreadable this far from any light source. But he must feel scared too. He doesn't respond at this point. I feel he may be really, really injured. Maybe he can't even understand me. Just as I reach into my pocket to try and call for help, he finally speaks up. Something happened to me earlier. I was just trying to walk home, and I'm a bit hurt right now. A bit hurt? It doesn't seem like he's doing well at all. Do you need help? Can you walk? He leans forward and begins to push up on his arm like he's trying to stand up. But he quickly wins and sits back to his original position. It hurts. My arm really hurts. My legs are okay though. How did you hurt your arms? Is anything broken? Broken? I didn't break anything. He shifts uncomfortably on the ground, trying to move his body to a more upright position. He looks at me a bit nervous. It's easier to see his face like this. And his face is a bit cute too. Let's go pretty pale. He says nothing is broken, but something else is definitely wrong. Well, something can break in more than one way. Maybe he was out doing things he should not be doing. It seems his injuries are causing him a lot of pain. I don't really know what to do in this situation. Do you need me to call an ambulance? Or get your ride to the clinic? If it hurts that bad, then you may need some serious help, even if you don't think it's broken. No, it hurts a lot, but it isn't anything worth a trip to the hospital. I'll be fine with just a bit of time to rest. Is he really going to be okay like this? I want to help him out, but maybe he really just needs some time to recover. Are you sure you'll be okay? Yeah, I appreciate the concern, but it truly isn't an emergency. Well, okay. Glad it's not that bad then. You should really be more careful. Getting injured on the side of the road this late is really dangerous. You're right. I'm really glad you're the one who came along. Seems like he had nothing to worry about earlier. To think I was so scared of him. I thought I was going to end up being mugged or murdered, but just ended up being a total overreaction. And now I'm just having a normal conversation with a stranger sitting in the grass. Well, that isn't too normal. Depends on where you're from. But I still don't really know anything about him. And he still seems pretty worried too. Should I try to calm him down a bit more so I can help better? He isn't going to tell me anything like this. What's your name? My name, it's Devin. He seems really shy about it. I feel kind of bad asking now. That's a really nice name. It suits you. And there's no way. I think your name is much nicer. Wait, what? How do you know my name? I didn't tell it to you yet. Huh? You didn't? I'm sorry, I must have thought you said it already and it slipped my mind. I feel a bit embarrassed. I hope you don't think I'm insincere now that I compliment something I didn't even know, but I'm certain your name is nice. That's all I was trying to say. Sorry to confuse you. It's fine. I was just a bit caught off guard. So, what is your name? I feel a bit hesitant to tell him now, but really shouldn't fault him for an honest mistake. It's V. V. That's a nice name. It's like I guessed. Devin is now more focused on his sudden blunder than the pain he's in, which is a bright side. It seems that conversation helped a bit, even if somewhat awkwardly. He looks off to the side trying to distract himself. Talking to a stranger like me seems to make him pretty nervous. Sort of anxious reflex, he begins to mess with the sleeves of his sweater. He just ended up winching in pain after pulling on them too hard. Seeing someone be miserable like this, I can't stop myself from asking him about it one more time. Do your arm still hurt to move? Yeah. Devin tries to move his arm again, and gives up quickly. Pulls them back into his lap in a comforting position. Will he be able to make it back somewhere safe soon? It's horrible, his arms hurts too much to even make it home. I feel the best way to just hurry up this interaction is to help him out quickly and then head on home. And the more he sits there in the dark, the more feelings of pity begins to surface. Talking to him has been a bit weird, but I can't help the gnawing feeling of concern for some reason. I feel bad just leaving you here like this. Here, let me help you walk a bit closer to your house. You shouldn't have to sit here in the dark. My house is still a bit of a walk away. I should be fine. Feel better already after talking to you. It seems I may have been a bit too worried after all. At least let me walk you to the bench nearby to rest. It's better for you than sitting on the ground. You'll help me? I really appreciate that. I just need some help standing up, then I'll be okay to move on my own. Helping him out seemed like an easy enough offer, but actually finding a good way to lift him up gracefully was a harder task than I guessed. Setting down my grocery bag of lonely milk on the sidewalk, I walk a bit closer to Devin. We both look at each other trying to figure out the best way to go about this. I want to lift him up without hurting him or making him uncomfortable. Eventually, he moved his legs until they are bent under him, almost in a kneeling position. Then I moved beside him, wrapping my arms around his torso. As I increased the pressure of my hold on him, his breathing becomes even more labored and unsteady. His body becomes incredibly tense despite how careful I try to lift. Are you okay? I'm trying not to touch your arms too much, but let me know if anything hurts. It really doesn't hurt that bad. I can barely feel it. Feeling a bit more reassured after knowing he's okay, I give one final lift and lifts up on his feet. We did it. Let's ask if there's anything else. Is there anything else we can do to help? I'm here if you need any. Before I can even finish what I was about to say, Devin begins to wobble over after trying to stand on his own. Quickly reaching back over to hold him steady, he ends up leaning back into my arms, clutching my shoulders to keep from falling. What happened? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Oops. It's fine. Do a little save there. Are you sure? I can call someone for you or get you a ride to the clinic if something is wrong. I think it's just my blood pressure after sitting there too long. I'm fine. Honestly, fine. Do you think you can try walking on your own? Or is that too much? I think I need a bit more time before walking on my own. I can just sit back down if it's too much trouble for you. I'd be lying if I said I'm not a bit tempted to take him up on the offer. But a small sense of guilt stops me from being back on my promise to help him. No, it's not too much trouble at all. If you're okay with it, you can lean on me while we walk to the bench. I don't know how much you feel like moving right now. If I have your support, I'd be okay to move. Okay. I'll try to walk slowly and not put too much strain on you again. We moved in a side-by-side position, where his arm is over my shoulder, so I wrap my arm around his back. The walk continues at a steady pace as we get halfway down the street. I feel Dwayne's breathing as he pushes against me for stability. Seems to still be quick and heavy. His body also feels cold and damp. Yes, how long had he been there by himself? Is he really okay? I look over to glance at Davy's face, which is completely pale with a small smile creeping onto his lips. The image is almost frightening with the state he's in. Like he doesn't even know how bad his condition is. No, like he doesn't even care. Notice I'm staring. His unreadable gaze meets mine in an instant. It feels he can read every thought and intention running through my mind. Suddenly, his eye softens as his grin turned more friendly, but the off-putting paleness is still there. You really are too kind to me, even helping me walk. For a second, I feel I can't move. I can hardly breathe while looking at him directly. As I said, no trouble. I have to force myself to turn away from him and continue to focus on walking. But I can still feel him right next to me as my heart hammers faster in my chest, and I pray he doesn't notice. Maybe I'm just imagining it. Maybe it's because we've met in such a weird situation. But he looks at me differently than anyone else I've ever met. I strengthen my resolve and begin to push forward again. We finally get to the end of the street and turn the last corner. The bench is just a few feet away. Here we are. You should be able to rest right over there. I gently put him over until he's able to safely sit down on his own. He seems a bit shaken up still, but he's much better off on a clean bench near the streetlight than on the ground in the dark. Thank you for taking me all the way here. It was considerate of you. Even though Davy says that, doesn't look relieved at all. I feel a bit guilty ending it like this, but just how much more can I really do? Hell, he didn't even want me to do this much. I'm glad I could help. Really hope you'll feel better soon. It was nice to meet you, Devin. As I'm about to walk away, he His hand suddenly grabs mine. Devin, are you alright? I immediately turn around and hold his hand into my own, while trying to be gentle with his arms. What do you need? Did you change your mind about calling for some help or going to the doctor? I don't want you to have to suffer alone, so I don't mind waiting here with you. Devin looks up at me with wide eyes, like he wasn't expecting this at all. As I begin to sit down on the bench next to him, he finally pulls his hand away and stops me. No, I didn't change my mind. Thank you, though. I just wanted to let you know. I want you to know. You left your milk behind earlier when helping me, and you probably don't want to forget that. My milk? That's right, I totally forgot. I guess I got so distracted helping you, I almost didn't remember to go back for it. Thank you for reminding me, Devin. What would I have done without you? He quickly became flustered again and shakes his head a bit. Didn't you say I'm the reason you got distracted in the first place? Maybe so, but it wasn't like you did that on purpose, so I still say you're pretty helpful. Devin looks off to the side, a bit embarrassed. I'm going to grab my milk now, but let me know if you need anything else. I have to walk back here to get home anyway, so I'll see you in a minute. Yeah, I'll see you in a minute then. Give a small wave and start to jog towards the corner we just came from. I make a turn and begin walking back down the previous road to where I left my milk. I really am glad that Devin said something, because I would have felt so ridiculous once I got home. It was the only reason I came out here and went through this wild evening after all. It only takes me a few seconds to find the lonely bag sitting on the sidewalk. Time makes me realize just how slow we were walking before. Distance that felt like it took ages to traverse was really a short jog. I quickly glanced over the milk to make sure it's still in good condition, and the jug looks perfectly fine. It was only out here by itself for a minute, but better check than drink bad milk. I scooped up the bag into my arms and started heading back. I should really say bye to Devin before heading home and check on him one last time. I run back to the bench and see him sitting there just as I left him. Well, something seems a bit off. Seems just as unwell as ever. In fact, he's not even looking at me now. Is he ready for me to just leave now? Does he even know I'm here? Step a bit closer so I'm right in front of him, and I try to duck down to get one last look at his face. Well, I got my milk, so I guess I'll be heading back home now. As I said before, it was nice to meet you. Get home safe, alright? Just as I'm about to leave, I finally noticed the dark strain forming all over his sleeves and onto the rest of his clothes. Earlier they were small enough that they could be mistaken for shadows, especially in the dim light, but now it seems much more obvious. Is that blood? Now it's impossible to ignore it. The panic hit me like an anvil as I felt my heart drop. I looked down at the arm I had used to help support his body when we walked over here. There was a smudge of crimson streaks across my hand that I didn't see earlier. He was bleeding. He was bleeding so much. It didn't seem possible. How did I not notice how bad it was? There was blood dripping down his hand now. Did I make it worse? Did I hurt him while carrying him here? No, I didn't mean to hurt him. Will he be alright? I lifted Devin's shoulder to look at his face. His eye seems hazy, like he might pass out soon. You need to get to a hospital immediately. I'll call an ambulance. Why didn't you tell me you were bleeding this much? What happened to you? It's just a little bit of blood. A bit of blood? It seems like much more than a bit. Is it really that bad? Are you worried about me? Yes. Now just show me how you got injured. I walked closer and tried to reach over to grab his hand. Suddenly, Devin moves up from the bench and stands in front of me. V, please, just listen to me. I need help, but Devin seems to inhale deeply, like he's trying to rise all the courage and willpower he has. I want to rush over to help him sit back down safely, but I feel frozen in place. I just examine his face, waiting for a sign to grab and steady him again. His eyes glazed at mine, shifting from assessing to pleading, like he really needs to tell me something. He still seems physically weak, but it's almost like he's even more energized now. Like something in the past few seconds totally revitalized his conviction. We both wait as he finally gets his bearings. Will you please hear me out? I hesitate a bit, but my curiosity and suspicion makes me want to hear why he's been acting so strange this whole time. Maybe he really does have a good reason, and can't deny he truly needs help. Yeah, I'll listen. Devin steps a bit more into the light, raises his arms halfway into the air. It's like he's trying to reveal the injuries without moving his sleeves, like he's trying to shield me from how bad it is. But all I see is more blood, and he seems to sense my concern. I didn't want to worry you too much, but it seems the state I am in looks quite bad. To be honest, it hurts really bad too. He grimaced as he looks down at his arms. Maybe he didn't even let himself think of how painful it was before. I didn't want you to know. My arms are so much worse than I let on. Then why don't you let me call for help? Someone did this to me. They were trying to hurt me. Someone hurt you. Who? Devin looks at me with a pained expression, and he stares at his arms again, looking at the strange foaming along his sleeves. A stalker. A stalker. A stalker? What? Are you being serious right now? I feel my blood begins to run cold. Out of all things, a stalker. It's true. I don't really know what happened until it was too late. Next thing I know, I'm on the side of the street and bleeding. My arms hurt so much, but I couldn't move. I was afraid I was going to be found again and killed. But when you found me instead, I felt safe. I hope you understand, but I really can't go to the hospital like this. I can't tell my attacker would know that where I need to go, and they try to find me there. So I'm too afraid. Just the thought of it happening. I was about to argue with Devin, but seeing the fear in his eyes and the way his body is shaking, I don't have the heart to disagree. It's okay, Devin. I understand. You're not going to call for help, right? No, not if you don't want me to. But why can't we call the police? You might be in real danger. Police? I really don't think that's a good idea. That's not a good sign. Makes me too nervous. Plus, I don't even think they would take me seriously after not believing me before. Looking at the blood continuing to drip from his hands, I feel it's hard to not take Devin seriously at this moment. But if he feels so certain about it, I shouldn't doubt him about this either. There has to be some solution, right? He can't just deal with this by himself and risk getting hurt even more. I want to be able to get him... Well, I want to be able to get help. His life could be at risk, and I don't think I could go home only to see him on the news tomorrow. Then what are we supposed to do? You can't keep walking around like that. I just need some place safe. I really don't think I can just be home alone while someone is after me. Then if there was some basic medical supplies, I could make it work. I patched myself up from worse. It feels like an inadequate solution, but my mind is racing too much to think of a good alternative myself. I may end up regretting this later. But one thing I know for sure, I can't leave him like this. I may be terrified, but there's nothing compared to what Dwayne is going through at this moment. I've been on edge the past few weeks with thought someone has been watching me, but he's been living it. feel a bit silly trying to relate. But I can't help but feel sense of connection though. Like it was fate that I happened to be the one here to help him. Well, we'll see about that. If anyone would know what it's like to live with this fear and how it can affect you, it would be me. And wouldn't I want someone to do the same for me if I was in such a dangerous situation? As I've been going through my reasoning in mind, Devin has just been staring at me with a hopeful expression. If you need some place to go, you can come to my house. Really? I can come to your house? I have a first aid kit I bought recently. I'm not sure how helpful it will be, but it's better than nothing. Yeah, that will work fine. Sorry, I can't believe you're really helping me. I'm not going to leave you out here alone or just send off to people you don't feel safe with. I really do want to help you, Devin. And I find myself really meaning those words. We stare at each other for a moment, assessing the bizarre situation that had been laid out quickly in front of us. But the look on his face, he seemed so happy, ecstatic even. This just shows that I definitely made the correct choice, right? Well, we'll see. Or did I even have a choice to not help someone in this much peril? Doesn't feel like I did at all. I tried to push down any feelings of uncertainty and move on to the next objective. So, we shouldn't stay out here too long, right? Isn't it kind of dangerous? Yes, you're right. We should leave right now. Devin's head whips around to survey the area, but he seemed quickly satisfied. I think we're safe, but it's best to be careful and hurry along. Alright then, let's go. I instinctively walk over to Devin, lean against him, moving my arm across his back again. V, what are you doing? You still need help with walking, don't you? After all this, I can't have you falling over on me. Of course, sorry. Neil forgot and it surprised me. I can't help but smile at how flustered he still gets at this point, even with how horrible his night has gone. Even though we just met, Devin seems to enjoy being around me. I'm happy to think I could make what must be one of the worst days ever a bit brighter. Devin moves against my arms, and we begin to walk together again. Maybe it's from doing it before, but it feels easier this time. My house is just a few buildings down, so you don't have to wait too long. And then you can just stay with me for the night and call whoever you need to call in the morning. This is really too kind of you. I don't deserve it, but at the same time I can't reject the offer. Don't feel bad for it. I really do want to help you. Is there a reason why you want to help me? Or are you just the type of person who would help anyone? Devin's face looked a bit upset when he says this. Does he think I have a weird motives? I'm not really sure. I just think if I were in your shoes, I want someone to look out for me like this. I picture someone who would do anything for you. The strange compliments makes my heart thump quickly in my chest. I try to ignore it, but it's soon all I hear. It makes me feel a bit happy in some way, and I get flustered myself. To distract myself from the noises in my head, I look out into the darkness, trying to search for any stalking figures. I make sure we aren't being followed, and there doesn't seem to be another soul in sight. For the past few weeks, I've constantly been seeing moving shadows, and feeling eyes on my back of my head. But for the first time in a while, I don't feel anything at all. I feel safer. And as I finally see the front of my house in view, I think the rest of this wild night is going to actually be okay. You reached the end of the demo. Ah, crap. Thank you, V, for playing. Invite me in. Continue the game and see how the rest of the night unfolds later this year. Out above gives a clue to the path we're headed on. Green, orange, okay. Well, that was interesting. I hated it ended where it did, but yeah. I'm gonna keep an eye out for whenever this gets a full release later this year. When was this? Because I recorded this in like early December, so I hope it gets out before the end of New Year's. But if not, if it comes like early next year, that's fine too. I will most likely play it anyhow. But with that said, and yeah, if you want to try it out and make some different choices, links down in the description as always, and it's free. It's a free demo, so have fun with that. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching. If you like, subscribe and all that jazz. If you want to help me out, share this video and watch some of my other videos. I have plenty to offer. And have a good whatever it is where you are, and I will see you in the next stream or video. Bye bye.